Hey guys, what's good? So I just watched the Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenious fight. Now I missed the full fight, but I did catch the highlights on the Zone on their YouTube channel. Um, it looked like it was kind of boring fight. From even the highlights didn't look that exciting. So if the highlights didn't even look that exciting, the actual fight itself was probably even more boring because the highlights, like, that's, you'd want to sell the fight and make it look really good. So anyway, it was decent. Um, but yeah, what I noticed from it is what I've been seeing from Joshua for years now. Like I said, I didn't see the full fight. I just caught the highlights. But from what I've seen, because I've watched quite a bit of Joshua's fights, um, pretty much I usually watch the whole fights of his fights, but for this fight, it was kind of under my radar. I didn't even know he was fighting, to be honest. But yeah, so he was fighting Robert Helenious. He was a step-in opponent, and you could tell that Helenius wasn't maybe in total fighting shape because he was gassing out. It looked like from what I was seeing, but what stuck out to me was what I've been seeing from Joshua for years now is his tentativeness to throw punches. He's kind of gun shy, and I've seen that for ever since the Ruiz loss. He's been like that. Um, so it took him, what was it, 8 rounds, 9 rounds? Or, I don't know. It took him over half the fight to get Helenius out of there, and I just don't see how he's gonna stand against Deontay Wilder. To be honest, I don't think it will last more than 4 rounds. I think Deontay Wilder will probably put him down, put him to sleep, and from what I've seen here too, Helenius was landing some shots. Obviously, um, I'll have to go back and watch the full fight, but I don't know if I will because it looked kind of boring. But I just wanted to make a video on it just because it just happened. I know a lot of people are hyped about, or just hyped in general about Joshua. So I thought I'd make it because obviously the potential fight of him versus Wilder is huge, and I'm very interested in that fight. So, um, yeah, like he still seemed gun shy from what I've seen, and sure he did get Helenius out of there, but it wasn't as devastating as Deontay Wilder. Obviously, first round for Wilder, and Helenius really, he's a big man, but I don't know, like he's been knocked out 4 times now, so he's obviously has some kind of lack of defense there. Um, and Joshua was landing good jabs to the body, I will say. Um, Helenius was landing some decent shots, but looked like he was gassing. Like I said, he was a late replacement. I don't even know who Joshua was supposed to fight, to be honest. Um, it was kind of under the radar. I didn't even know he was fighting. That's why I missed the full fight. But if he does fight Wilder, that will be a huge fight. I will definitely be watching that fight. Um, but I know at the end of the, I know during the fight, the British commentators were saying that Joshua is gun shy. That was the gist of what they were saying throughout some of the fight. But then at the end, after they got the knockout, after Joshua got the knockout, one of the commentators said he has the same type of power output as Wilder, and he can end guys like that. And sure, yeah, heavyweight division, you can end guys like at any moment with one shot. But to say he has Wilder power is just, no, he doesn't. You were just all talking how he was so tentative and that Helenius was there to be hit, but for some reason Joshua didn't just want to go in there. But after the knockout, you were saying, oh, he has this crazy power. It's like, and they compared it to Wilder's power. And like, that's, no. You can't compare to anyone to Wilder's power in this day and age. Hasn't been a guy who hits as hard as Wilder in years. I can't even remember the last guy that hit like him. Obviously, I'm more younger, but like you had guys like obviously like Tyson, you had Lennox Lewis hit hard, you had like who else? George Foreman's who hit hard, like Rocky Marciano's. But obviously, I wasn't around for those guys, and I haven't seen all their fights. But from what I've seen, I can't imagine you not putting Wilder in those among those greatest puncher names. To be honest, like I've never seen power like that in my life. A guy putting guys out like the way he does. Like we see Golovkin do it. He's one of the best punchers I've ever seen, but the way Wilder puts guys out is just it's pretty crazy. Um, that leverage he gets in that right hand is something special. So yeah, that commentator was kind of out of place saying that. A little bit biased, maybe because British people, right? He's a British fighter, Joshua. But overall, the performance, like I said, from what I've seen in the highlights, I can't say I was impressed. Like he did his job, right? So he didn't do bad, right? I would have to go back and watch the full fight, but from what I've seen, if the highlights were kind of boring like that, he seemed tentative. It took him that long to get Helenious out. I can't imagine what Wilder's gonna do to him. And like I know Styles make fights, so maybe I could be wrong. Maybe he'll beat Wilder because Styles make fights, and sometimes fighters like that. Um, I would say the other thing is fighters get up for certain fighters, but I don't think you can say that with him anymore. Like that's not the case because with Ruiz, he came back in the rematch. He won, but he did not look the same. He did not look impressive at all. And in the Usyk fight, he didn't. You would think he would get up for that fight. He didn't. He lost that fight. So I don't think it's a matter of getting up for the fighters. I think stylistically, if he matches up good with Wilder, that's his only chance in winning. But other than that, if he doesn't match up good stylistically, which I don't think he will, I think he will get knocked out by Deontay Wilder. And what I bring up when I bring up the thing about some fighters, they just need that fire to get up for someone. Like you see with Terrence Crawford, he did a lot better with like a Spence because he got up for him even more. Like he raises the competition when the competition gets raised. You've seen it with Andre Ward when he looked terrible in his fight. Well, not I would say he looked mediocre in his fight before he fought Kovalev the first time. And though I thought he lost to Kovalev the first time, he still survived it, and I did not expect that at all. But looking at his previous fight before the Kovalev fight, you would think Kovalev would have just starched him easily, right? So sometimes fighters raise their level to their opposition, but Joshua has proved time and time again that I don't know if he's that guy anymore mentally, to be honest. And I think Wilder will land the right hand under 4 rounds and will get him out of there. And Joshua won't be beating the count. So hopefully this fight happens finally. Whose fault was it that it didn't happen before? Who knows? Back and forth. Fans say this, it was Joshua's fault. Fans say Wilder's fault. Both camps say this. I'm not going to do research into that again. Like, I know there was a lot of money offered and this guy declined, or I don't know. All I know is Wilder's will fight anybody. Joshua, obviously, you got to give all these fighters respect, but if I had to pick one guy that I would say is more of a warrior and more who will fight anybody, I would pick Wilder is that more that guy than and is more mentally strong than like a Joshua. You know what I mean? So I'm riding with Wilder. Always liked his style. Obviously, he gets the knockouts. Didn't like obviously the excuses he made in the Fury fights when he lost, but other than that, I respect the guy. He's exciting to watch. So hopefully that fight gets made finally. Now that Fury's out of the picture for now until he fights, who's he fighting? Ngannou now or something I heard, or something like that. And then Usyk at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens there. But in the meantime, Joshua gets the win over Helenious. what is it? Took him over 6 rounds to get it done. Wilder gets it done in 1 round. Obviously, that doesn't tell the whole story. We've seen style makes fights, but I would say Wilder's got to be a decent favor going into that fight, considering how he looked against the same opponent and how he came back from his losses. When you look at Joshua after his losses, he's never fully looked as impressive as he used to look. And even when he was on top, he did struggle with Klitschko, and Fury pretty much, like, obviously that fight was boring, the Fury versus Klitschko fight, but Fury never really got hurt in that fight, whereas Klitschko hurt Joshua pretty badly. So Joshua, though he's been at the top level, he's never had that invincible aura to him in a while, whereas Wilder has only one man, Fury, has made him look human, to be honest. Well, I would say no. Actually, Ortiz did show some vulnerabilities in Wilder, and especially Wilder, we know, can get outboxed. But for how long can you outbox Wilder before you get knocked out? So, anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about the Joshua Helenious fight. Did you watch it? I just caught the highlights, like I said. Let me just tell you guys, I like to watch the full fight before making a video, but since it just happened, I wanted to get out there, just get my thoughts, because I've been busy, so I don't know if I'll get to watch the full fight anytime soon. But from the gist of it, it looked like he did all right, but nothing. Obviously, the knockout was spectacular, not as good as Wilder's, but still looked tentative to me from what I've seen. But I like to watch the whole fight to get the whole story. But yeah, if it take you that long to get Helenious out, which styles do make fights, but Wilder got it done in 1. So let me know what you guys thought. And this is Triple J. Thanks for watching, and take care.